Hey, did you recently go through a breakup, or I think the uber spiritual call it a conscious uncoupling? Whether you were the dumper or the dumpy, parting ways with someone is never easy. First off, I'm very sorry to hear that you're going through this. Breakups can be an especially emotionally charged time, making it very difficult to have any energy for anything else. Any energy to show up for work, any energy to just cope with other people. It can be a very emotionally draining and emotionally charged time. Maybe your brain is flooded with, what did I do wrong? Was it me? Could this have worked out? Where do I go from here? What does my future look like without this person? And I get it. Second, I promise you that you will be okay. I promise everything will get better and that this is just a moment in time. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact steps I use, the exact steps I share with clients when they're looking to release this energy of the other person, and even my siblings and friends. I'm Jeanette Zizikowski, your go-to Feng Shui consultant. Daily, I'm working with the motivated, the successful, and the inspired to use Feng Shui to help them enjoy the journey as they reach their full potential, and enjoy the journey even when there are some obstacles such as this. Jumping straight into it, the first thing you have to do is cry it out. I am that friend that people rely on when they're going through tough things like this. I have seen it all, whether it's broken engagements, somebody getting cheated on, somebody being blindsided. I myself have been blindsided before. So I have seen the different varieties, and the best recommendation I can always give, and for myself, what I do is first you have to cry it out. You have to release this emotion that you're feeling. Because what is disease? Disease is dis-ease in the body. It's that suppressed emotion from traumatic events. It's the suppressed emotion from emotional events. Nothing good comes from holding on to those feelings. The best thing you can do is cry it out, get it out, scream into a pillow, go on a vacation where you're in the mountains and scream into the scenery, but you must get that emotion out even before you feng shui or prep your space at all. The second thing to do in this, how to move on, how to grow from a breakup, normally in feng shui, the second step, or one of the very early steps, is get intentional. Why are we about to move things and rearrange things? We'll get clear on your intention, and then you give your space attention with intention. But that is a step that we're skipping for now, because you might still be in this headspace of, my intention is to get them back. My intention, whether you were the dumper, the dumpy, blindsided, you might still want them back. You might think that your future is better with them and it has to be them. And so because you want to emotionally move on, I do not recommend that now is the time to go in with that intention. Instead, second step is to make space to receive. And what I mean by receive is, before we go in and move all of your stuff or just repurpose and apply feng shui to your home, make space to receive what is meant for your highest good. That should be the intention as you do this process. It might be that this person comes back. It might be that that person is meant to be in your life. But for now, emotionally moving on, it is make space to receive what is for your highest good and what is for your best interest. Make space to receive new people you're supposed to meet. Make space to receive new opportunities you're supposed to experience. Make space to receive these new, again, experiences, opportunities, and people in your life so that you grow, so that maybe you are more compatible with that person, or you've just outgrown it and you see, I'm actually better than this. I believe in myself. I really just needed to find my confidence again. So we're going to make space. The second step is make space to receive whatever is meant for you. And by make space to receive, I mean, it's time to release their items. You might be very early on. This might be day 2 of your breakup and you're like, I'm getting over it. This might be, later. So everybody's probably in a different position of how ready they are to actually get rid of their sweatshirts, their stuff, the significant other stuff that's in the house. So if you're not ready to fully donate or get rid of or trash, go ahead and box up these things though. Box them up, put them in a box in a tub in the basement where you can't see it. Get it out of sight, out of mind as much as you can. And if you really can, go ahead and donate and remove the items from your home. It's time to make space to receive what is meant for you. The third step is a little bit in line with that. So our subconscious speaks in images. images. And our subconscious is responsible for 95% of what we manifest. So if you think about it, you dream in images, right? If I say think of a fork, you envision a fork. You don't think of the word fork. And when you dream, you're not dreaming words, you're dreaming in images. So the third step is to remove any imagery in your space. This is a super important step because also images speak to our subconscious, and our subconscious doesn't know if it's real or fake. So if you Photoshop yourself onto a body with 12-pack abs and like riding a unicorn, your subconscious, that might be a little bit of a stretch on a unicorn, but your subconscious doesn't know what's real or fake, what it sees. And so it can be very difficult to move on emotionally if you are surrounded by wedding pictures, vacation pictures. If your phone background is you and your significant other, it's time in step 3 to remove any images that bring up these emotions of them. This also includes social media. I think it's so strange how difficult deleting a picture of you and your significant other can be. Or maybe you post frequently enough that it will just get pushed to the bottom. Really consider as well removing those pictures, or maybe the most intimate ones, maybe the most like, you know, them on your back smiling at a sunset together. Like, consider the most romantic, lovey, you're the love of my life caption photos, getting rid of those. You can always archive these photos. You can always print them off and put them in a folder somewhere in case you do want to reflect later in life. But remove this imagery from around you. In line with making space to receive, the fourth one can be very tricky. This one's sort of on the fence, especially for my clients who are divorced. But the next one is about getting rid of gifts that they have given you. And this is why I say it's tricky, because 2 of my favorite necklaces, I don't know why this seems to be a theme in my serious relationships, but they've given me these necklaces that I would just wear daily. I just slept in them. I kept them all the time. And it was very hard for me because I also just loved them, the necklaces and the people, I guess, but to take them off and get rid of them. I've been given, you know, like clothes or just other little things that, you know, I like squirrels a lot, and I've been given like these little squirrel trinkets. So ask yourself, on one hand, I have seen plenty of people who've gotten divorced and they're like, no, I love this necklace. I don't even think of him. Like, we're keeping the necklace, it's okay. But I've seen other people say this imagery, this artwork that I was gifted, it just continues to remind me of this time. I do love the painting, but it just brings me back to a different time, a different life. And these are the things you really have to play hardball with yourself and say, okay, at least I'm gonna just put it in a closet for now. I'm gonna move it out of sight for now. And that will allow your energy to move on. It's these objects and these images that really keep us stuck in the fantasy of nostalgia and thinking about the future with this person and what was and what could have been. It's best to just hide these things, if not completely part with them. The 5th is sort of in line with 3, and again, like this making space to receive and cutting ties. But the 5th step is removing them externally. So also getting rid of these Netflix accounts and Hulu accounts and all these passwords that are shared and any calendars that were synced. We're getting closer to how do we adjust our space, and we often forget that there are these invisible ties through passwords and shared accounts and potentiality of like bumping into them and their emails and things. You need to externally part ways with these internet ties as well, and these streaming services and any other maybe phone passwords that were linked or any of this like internet technology stuff. Step 5 is to part ways there. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. So after you've made space to receive, so you've gotten rid of their items, you've detached electronically, you've really cleared out the images and made space, this is when you would do space clearing. So common, I actually am burning some of these. These are my favorite Palo Santo sticks. It's very hard. So this is what Palo Santo looks like. Make sure you get the ethically sourced Palo Santo. Palo Santo is my favorite, and I actually really like it because it brings in new energy, where I feel like a sage, like I just prefer Palo Santo. Okay, we'll talk about the difference between Palo Santo and sage another day. But it's harder to keep these burning. It goes out very quickly. So I have these incense Palo Santo sticks that are fantastic. I'm burning some right now, but it would be too hard to show you. Well, we'll try. So here we go. Ooh. And more commonly, what you might have your hands on is you can also sage your space. Here's the common misconception. You do not have to light this whole thing and run around your house with it. You can simply like tear off some of the dryer and just burn this and just go around your house with it. It's better to tear off like some of the smaller pieces and go rather than create this whole like cloud of craziness. So at any point in between every step, even if this is heavy and you want to move out the energy, it is important to move out this old stale energy that they brought, that their stuff held. And as you go around, whether it's with your Palo Santo or with your sage, you want to say, thank you so much. Say things like, thank you so much. I'm divinely guided. Everything is happening for me, not to me. I appreciate these experiences. I appreciate how this growth is happening for me, what I'm going to learn from this. I appreciate that if I had something this great and this wonderful, something even better than I can imagine is on its way to me. I trust that there are people in super healthy, happy marriages right now, and they have been in this position before. Everything is okay. Everything's happening in divine timing. I am growing from this experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you go around your house, and the best is to do it clockwise and make sure you have like a window or front door open. You go out and you just scoop that energy, that old stale energy out, and you welcome in all of the new. Now step 6, we get more into this energy. So we've made space to receive, we've removed the images that are around us, like bringing up these old feelings, sending us into these nostalgic places. You know, that's what those saved texts are, that's what those saved images are. They just take us down this road of nostalgia where it likely was not as perfect as you're remembering it. And maybe it was very great and you were blindsided in your mind, it was great. I can totally like relate to that. And so you're like, where did it go wrong? We want to remove those triggers that send us down that, because the present is the present and everything is happening for you. Everything is happening for your greatest good. So we've removed those. And now what I want you to do is find a free, I know people use Calm app. I prefer Insight Timer, the app. There are these free apps. Calm, you might have to pay a little bit. Or even go on YouTube and search for cord cutting ceremony or cord cutting meditation. There are these guided meditations that as you're sitting there, they guide you through this process of these, no matter who we interact with, we are energetically tied to them, especially if we have been intimate with them, especially if you've spent a lot of time connecting with them emotionally. You have these energetic ties. And so step 6, I'm looking down at my notes, step 6 is to go through a cord cutting ceremony, a cord cutting meditation, go through this process of emotionally and energetically detaching. Something that's been very helpful for me recently, and also my medium, you guys know who Glenn is. I talk about him all the time. Now he's on YouTube, so Glenn Klausner, psychic medium. It was recommended to listen to 432 hertz or 528 hertz music. And it is all about that, shakes up that sound, essentially resonates in the body and heals the energy in the body. And so as you're going through the house, on your speaker, on your phone, in your headphones, if you can't be meditating all the time, or you feel like you just need extra, listen to those meditations as well, those sound baths as well that are at the 432 hertz and the 528 hertz music. And you will, especially falling asleep to it, you wake up so much more refreshed and not as like immediately thinking about the other person. It feels like things were cleansed out as you were sleeping. So 7th is changing up your environment. So now we're getting into that Feng Shui. Again, this has a lot to do with our images and our environment. Remind us of emotions, remind us of times we had with this other person. And it is so, so, so important to change up your environment. First, in this 7th step, this is more about having new experiences. If there is a coffee shop that you always went to with this person, oh my gosh, there's nothing worse than after living with somebody or being in a, like going through a breakup with somebody, and you have to be the one that finds a new coffee shop, or you have to be the one that you're like, all of this was walkable to my house and now I have to go and do all of these things without you. Or pickleball courts, like you're like, this is my pickleball court. It is so important to, maybe you can't find a new coffee shop, but you must start doing new experiences. You must start putting yourself in new places around new people, having new experiences, so that one, you're interacting with all of this new different energy, and so that you're creating new memories. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same result, and it will feel even more disruptive and discouraging and disharmonious, if that's a word, if that person you are always doing those things with isn't there. But when you do new things, go to a new library, read a new book, hang out in a different part of the house, sit in a new chair, go to a different movie theater, doing these new things, going to a new grocery store, you don't have those times that come up, or like, oh, this is where he dropped the peanut butter, or this is the coffee shop where we first said these things to each other. New experiences, new environment. This will help you move on emotionally sooner than later. Next, I sort of dipped into it, number 8. I sort of dipped into it in number 7, but it is rearranging your house. Can you get new sheets? Can you rearrange some of the furniture? Can you rearrange your bedroom? What in your home, because this person either lived in your home or was around your home a lot, how can you change things up in your space? Just reawaken the stuff in your space. I know it sounds kind of weird, but like, even if you hit your photo albums, your books, your chairs, your furniture, you just kind of are like, clap around the space, wake up the energy in your space with this intention of new beginnings, new reinvigorating energy, new things coming. And if you can swap chairs and just even reverse them, if you can change the blankets that are on your bed and put new blankets on the couch, new pillows, where you put the flowers, just shaking it up in any way. Like, it's as basic as it sounds. If you're like, oh, Jeanette, like, can I change where my trash can is? Can I change what side of the sink my toothbrush is on? Any amount of change at all shakes up this, like, these neural pathways, shakes up these habits. Change where the coffee is made, change where the coffee machine is, where the tea maker is. Changing up anything in any direction will help attract new energy and will help you detach emotionally, move on emotionally, know that everything's going to be okay, because you're now focused on getting used to this new thing. The 9th step is then putting up new imagery. So we took it all down, and now you might say, well, now I have these like empty photos, these empty photo frames, like, what am I supposed to do with these? Or maybe even a big piece of artwork was like from a big trip that you took together. One, you can leave things empty if to you that symbolizes, I have new memories I'm going to make, new people I'm going to meet, and I'm going to slowly fill these albums and these spaces with all my new experiences. For some people that resonates. For other people, they see empty photos and emptiness everywhere, and they immediately think emptiness, loss, what happened to this person, what happened to my future. So you have to decide who you are and which one it represents to you. But if you are the person who doesn't like leaving it empty, put in images of where you want to go. Put in images of who you want to become. Put in images of all the friends and family you have that are so supportive that they're not going anywhere. They're sticking with you. They're by your side. And go through the action of actually printing off new photos. Or make it a special weekend. You know, a lot of times after a breakup, the hardest thing is, what do I do with my free time now? Like, we always did this together. We were going here together. And make a special weekend of like going to an art show, going to, you know, I'm not a biggest fan of like Hobby Lobby art or Bed Bath & Beyond art, but even going through there and just saying, I'm gonna look for new photos. Like, it's something to fill your time of and you're spending this time reflecting on what you like. You're spending this time thinking about what you enjoy, what you think is pretty. And so you're thinking about yourself. And that is, it's underestimated, but that is very therapeutic, to be thinking about you and surrounding yourself with things you like. So even though I don't love generic artwork, I want it to be intentional. I want it to be stuff that you like. You can spend a weekend saying, like, looking for art and looking for what you want to surround yourself with. But also don't underestimate, like, notice all the friends that are stepping up. Notice all the family members that are there for you. Maybe you take a trip and you remember this moment of like, wow, I never would have spent this time with my family. I'm going to take a picture with them. And that is what goes in the old frame that had different memories. And now you're surrounding yourself with new things and new images, and you're thinking, wow, I am super supported. I have a lot of people who have my back. Or you put a picture of your dream vacation. I've always wanted to see the Northern Lights. And so you get a cool image of the Northern Lights, and that is the new goal and what you focus on. So that is number 9. And finally, the 10th step is to boost your lucky relationships and spirituality sense of self direction. So if you aren't familiar, you have 4 lucky directions based on when you were born. I have a super easy guide. There's a link in the description of this video and all videos for you to discover more about your personal energy and personal number. When you find out what your personal energy number is, you also will find out in this guide what your 4 lucky directions are. So you have a lucky relationships direction and a lucky sense of self or spirituality direction. You want to boost those directions. And by boost, I mean that's where you want to really get clear on the intentions for, what do I want out of a love life? What do I want right now? And not only are you helping your lucky relationships, but I also really want you to focus on your confidence, because you cannot be broken when you have solid confidence. You might be blindsided, it might be devastating, but when you have a solid confidence and you have solid self-worth and you know that you will persevere, that is important. So I don't want you to just boost your lucky relationships because you want to attract a new partner. We're not there yet. It's always good to take time. So also focus on you, what you like, what you learned from it. What do you need? Who are you? Boost both of those lucky directions. And if you're wondering, well, how do I boost those lucky directions? Go to the guide. It's a free PDF. You enter your email, you look up your birthday, and it tells you in that guide how to boost your lucky directions. And if you go a step further, there is a one-time offer of a super discounted 5-day Feng Shui kickstart, and it will really help you maximize this kickstart, this new energy you're creating, and really help you boost your sense of self and your relationships' lucky directions. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I promise you, I'm not one to make promises or generic promises. I promise you, you will be okay. I promise you that this is going to help you grow. Maybe they need to go off and grow to be better for you, but I promise you, this is only a moment in time. It too shall pass, and you have got this. Like this video if you are ready to reinvigorate the energy in your space. Share this with somebody who's going through a difficult breakup or who just really is having difficulty. Maybe the breakup is past, but they're like, I need to emotionally detach from this person. And don't forget to subscribe.